Hey, this is Florian, Online Tennis Instruction. Novak Djokovic just won the 2015 Australian Open and he is currently number one in the world. So let's take a look at what makes Novak so great and what we can learn from him. Today we'll begin with the return of serve. Novak's returns are phenomenal and in my opinion he's currently the best returner on the tour. The only returner that comes to my mind that was significantly better was Andre Agassi, and that has a lot to do with Novak's severe forehand Western grip, which makes it a little bit more difficult to return aggressively on that forehand side. Let's start by taking a closer look at Novak's grip here on the return. In the ready position, it appears that he is waiting with his right hand in a relatively neutral grip in between his forehand grip and his backhand grip. So the index knuckle may be on bevel 3 here. His left hand is already positioned in his backhand grip because there's no need to change this. Now, as I let this clip run, something interesting happens here. Take a close look at his right hand. He moves his right hand into his forehand grip right now. And now he already has his extreme forehand grip with his right hand, even though he does not know where the ball is coming yet. As he realizes that the ball is coming to the backhand side, he turns his upper body and at the same time changes his right hand into his backhand grip. So why is this important? Many players these days hit forehands with extreme grips, even though that is something I recommend you to stay away from if at all possible. There are two main problems with an extreme forehand grip on the return of serve. Number one, it takes longer to get from the forehand grip to the backhand grip when you make your grip change. And number two, you will have to make an adjustment from the end of the backswing to contact to get the racket face vertical or straight up and down. So the question becomes, should you wait with your right hand in your forehand grip, or should you wait in an in-between grip, which is what we see at the beginning of the motion here with Djokovic. The in-between grip could make sense because then you only have a small grip change to make to your forehand and a small grip change to make to your backhand. However, as we saw, Djokovic doesn't really make use of this in-between grip at all. He switches to a forehand grip before he hits his return. Therefore, essentially, he could just start off waiting with his forehand grip anyways. So what's my point here? In theory, it could make sense to wait with an in-between grip if you have a severe Western grip and then go with a small change to the forehand side and a small change to the backhand side. In practice, I know very few players that have managed to do this, and if you're going to put the effort in, you may as well just switch from your severe forehand grip to a more neutral or conservative forehand grip anyways for your entire game, which of course is a bit more of a project. Okay, so now that we've covered the grips, let's take a look at technical elements that make Djokovic's returns so great. A good return always has a very short and compact backswing where the arms actually do very little to bring the racket into position for the forward swing. So right here we can see that position. The racket does not go behind Novak's back and the arms did very little. He turned his upper body and the arms were just along for the ride to get into this position. Many of you may have heard that you should have a short and compact backswing on your returns. However, there's something else that is very important about this position that you've probably not heard about. Novak's racket face and arms are positioned so that he does not have to make any unnecessary adjustments from here to contact. At contact, Novak needs to get the racket face vertical or straight up and down, which we can see here. So let's go back to the previous position. Right here we can see that the strings of Novak's racket are pointing to the side and the racket is in a position so that when he moves the racket forward to contact, it will automatically be vertical. He does not need to make any unnecessary adjustments from here to contact. The problem that many players have is that in that key position at the end of the backswing, the strings are pointing upwards or downwards, and then you have to make adjustments from there to contact, and that costs time and results often in framed returns. Now let's take a look at Novak's forehand return. Similar to the backhand side, as he recognizes the forehand return, he turns his upper body, and the backswing is very short and compact. The arm did very little to get into this position. Now, however, we see a major difference to his backhand return. The strings of his racket are pointing slightly downwards, and that is because of his extreme forehand grip. So from this position, he needs to make a minimal adjustment to get the strings vertical or straight up and down at contact. Take a close look what happens now. This right here is where he makes that adjustment. And now the strings are pointing almost entirely to the side, and from here it's relatively easy to get the racket face vertical at contact, as we can see here. So this minimal adjustment from here to contact is what makes it so much more difficult to return well with an extreme forehand grip. And that's also the reason why most players with a grip like this stand way behind the baseline when they return. Novak still manages to stand in close, and he of course returns incredibly well also on the forehand side. However, his backhand return is better, and we almost never see him frame a return on the backhand side, whereas from time to time you do see him frame returns on the forehand side. He manages to still return extremely well on the forehand side because of a lot of coordinative talent. He just has a lot of talent that allows him to adjust the racket face in that last millisecond before contact, and he gets it right almost every single time. If, however, you don't have this kind of coordinative talent, you're much better off with a more conservative forehand grip on the return of serve and on your forehand in general. So to summarize this lesson, first make sure you don't have an extreme forehand grip on your return, then make sure you have a short, compact backswing that does not go behind your back, and last but not least, be aware of the importance of the racket position at the end of the backswing so that you don't have to make a lot of adjustments from there to contact. Thank you for watching this video. To watch all of our free videos, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel below.